What's up, everybody? It's Jared with Capture the Magic. And when it comes to Epic Universe, for a long time, it was all about potential. What will it do for Universal Studios? What will it do to Disney World, as many people have debated over the past few years before this park opened? But now we're starting to get some actual data about the Epic Universe impact that is having in Orlando and for Universal Studios. And we saw in Comcast's earnings report, off of 1 month of Epic being included in that report, that they had a 19% increase in Universal's revenue from the theme parks. And it also seems like Epic Universe is having quite the impact on the Orange County tax income, as Epic Universe seems to be driving the best June ever. This is also coming off the heels of having either the best May or one of the best Mays that they've ever had before as well. So we've got an article here from Orlando Sentinel. We're going to talk about this and give some thoughts on it. It says Epic Universe drives Orange County tourist tax to the best June ever. It says that Universal Orlando is bringing epic tourist tax collections to Central Florida with the second record-setting month in a row after opening its newest theme park. Orange County collections soared to about $33.7 million in June, according to a monthly report released Tuesday morning. That's a 10.3% increase over last year and the highest ever for the month. The strong collections in June represent the first full month following the grand opening of Epic Universe on May 22nd, said Comptroller Phil Diamond in a release. Central Florida began seeing effects from Epic Universe during the last 10 days of May. Tourist tax income for that month skyrocketed to a record $30 million, a 5.7% increase from last year. It's the seventh time in the past 12 months the county has set a new record, reflecting a commanding year for Central Florida tourism. Orange County isn't the only entity benefiting from the popularity of Universal's fourth theme park, which has been 6 years in the making. In the April, May, June period after Epic Universe opened, revenue for the theme park segment of Universal's parent company, Comcast Corp., increased 18.9%. Comcast does not break down financial information by park, so it's unclear how many people have visited Epic Universe or how much money it has generated individually. The tourist development tax is a 6% rate tacked onto bookings at hotels, apartments, or other lodging rented for 6 months or less in Orange County. The majority goes to fund attractions like convention centers and sports stadiums, as well as tourist centers. Monthly reports lag about 5 weeks behind the hotel tax collections. And they have a chart here showing from July 2024 to June 2025. And like they said, 10 out of the last 12 months have seen positive percent changes in tourist tax collections compared to the previous year. I wish they showed this chart last May, but I know May was a 6% increase. June was about 10%. July is going to be very interesting because they had a negative 2% last year. And so if they can, continue building on that momentum, you could see another record-breaking July as well. In June, hotel occupancy rose 1.5% from last year, according to Visit Orlando, the region's marketing agency. Visit Orlando, which is funded by tourist and development taxes, also reported the average daily price for an Orange County hotel room increased by 4.2% to nearly $200. Short-term rentals like Airbnb, meanwhile, saw average daily rates fall 3%. However, demand for these units increased by 18%. Hotel bookings for the remainder of the year also look promising, according to a release attributed to Visit Orlando's president and CEO Cassandra Matej. The fourth quarter from October to December looks especially bright, with bookings pacing 5% ahead of last year. Overall, June marked a solid start to the travel season, Matej said in the release. It's not the first time a theme park opening has boosted Central Florida tourist tax revenue. Disney World's Animal Kingdom bumped collections 8% after opening, while Islands of Adventure at Universal drove a 2% increase. It says overall, through the first 9 months of the current fiscal year beginning October 1st, Orange County's tourist tax collections are $16.3 million ahead of last year, and reserves may fund future projects including Camping World Stadium renovations and the UCF Football Stadium Tower project. And they didn't really put this in the Orlando Sentinel article, but the comptroller, Phil Diamond, credited the surge partly to the grand opening of Epic Universe on May 22nd, which attracted many visitors. So obviously, if you're looking at actual data about the impact of Epic Universe, you have Comcast earnings call, which showed about a 19% increase in revenue. Now you have the Orange County tax collections reporting record tax revenues and crediting Epic Universe for that. And I think you're starting to get a picture, of course, that Epic Universe is something that is not only helping Universal Studios, but it's helping the general Orlando area with more travel. And, when it comes to the internet, it seems like you either hear people say that Epic Universe is going to crush Disney World and they're going to go out of business. And then you hear the other side of the spectrum, which is Epic Universe has no impact and anything else. It's just a new park opening and it's not a big deal and, nothing to see here. The truth is somewhere in the middle. As I've said for a long time, Epic Universe was not going to demolish Disney World. It wasn't going to put Disney World out of business. But it is going to increase the amount of competition in the Orlando area, which is exactly what Universal wants to do as they are playing the market share game. They're eating into market share from Disney, and Epic Universe is going to help with that. And really for May having record-breaking numbers, part of that probably as well was during the Epic Universe previews, but officially Epic Universe was only open for about 8 days in May that reported that tax income revenue. So June is the first month that we've seen a full month of Epic being open, and you saw a 10% increase in the tax revenue. Now, again, this is for hotels surrounding Epic Universe, which is, you can put two and two together. They have a brand new theme park opening. You see more hotel reservations. It's not hard to jump to a little bit of the conclusion there that you're looking at the reason for that jump is a lot to do with Epic Universe. So I think when you're talking about this stuff, it's important to just, try and be as realistic as possible here. Now, all cards on the table. I love Epic Universe. I've been looking forward to this park opening for years. I've been to it 4 times now. It's fantastic. I do love it. It has its issues, of course, as any new theme park will, and no theme park is perfect. But I think undoubtedly, if you are just trying to be nuanced about the subject, Epic Universe was always going to have a positive impact for Universal Studios. I think that much was basically a given that was going to happen. And I would say it's basically beyond reproach to say that Epic Universe is having a positive impact, but this is the internet, and I'm sure there are going to be people that are going to argue somehow that it's not. Liar! But I think obviously it is having an impact here. I suppose the big question out there is going to be in the next earnings calls for both Comcast and Disney is what does a full quarter of Epic Universe being open, what's its impact for Universal Studios, and what does that impact potentially on Disney, as we have seen some lower attendance numbers that has been reported by Touring Plans and some other outlets that this summer's attendance at Disney World has been the lowest they've seen since about the summer of 2021, 2022, somewhere around there. Epic Universe is having a positive impact for Universal Studios, driving more traffic there, and they even commented on the Comcast earnings call that they were not seeing a cannibalization of their existing parks, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, which likely means that a lot of new people are coming into Epic Universe to check out this new park, which is also interesting because Disney kind of mentioned this a couple of months ago that they were anticipating a new crowd, a new segment of people coming into the parks. I think they probably were looking at the likelihood that Epic Universe was going to drive not necessarily just theme park people over into Epic Universe, but a new group of people interested in going to Epic Universe, potentially off of, say, Nintendo and these other properties that are in that park, and that Disney was counting on likely getting a lot of that traffic coming to their parks. Now, whether or not that ended up happening for Disney or not, we'll have to wait and see on that from their next earnings call. And I think, you can make criticisms about the way that Universal kind of had the ticketing packages they've been doing, as well as the park has, higher wait times. Like it's still not at full capacity. I have been told by people at Universal that there's about a 22,000 cap on attendance per day, roughly internally, as they want to get that park up, 40, 50,000 guests per day is where they would love to put that park at some point. And right now they're not able to do that. As you've seen the wait times be over 70 minutes many days on average. So Epic Universe is not a perfect park. It's going to have its issues that they're working through, and eventually they will fix the wait time issues here and things like that. But I think if you're just looking at this, taking facts for what they are, Epic Universe has been successful thus far for Universal. It's also been successful for the Orange County tax income. And so really there's no metric to look at. That some people I know have been floating this out there, that Epic Universe is some sort of not a home run or not been successful or whatever the case may be, even though this park has barely been open for 2 months. I think the data shows a different picture here from both Comcast and from the Orange County tax collections. And I think a lot of people, myself included, are very interested to see what those July numbers look like for the tax income. And if those continue to go upwards, and especially as Epic Universe continues to add more capacity to that park, as Universal has even said, they are working on getting these rides much more optimized, not having as much downtime, and eventually getting more people into this park, it's very likely you're going to see increased revenue for both Comcast and for the Orange County tax income as Epic Universe continues to bolster the amount of people they're able to get into that park. And not to play the I told you so game, but this is kind of the scenario I figured that might play out when you're talking about Epic Universe opening, how it's going to impact Universal and how it potentially could impact Disney, is that you would likely to see a major bump in attendance and revenue for Universal Studios with a brand new theme park like this opening up. And then people were looking at what's the effect going to be on Disney. And I've kind of contended all along. I mean, I think Disney would be very happy in somewhat of a likely scenario if their attendance stayed flat. Maybe they have a little bit of a dip this summer. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they do see a little bit of a downturn in their overall attendance from this summer. But you weren't going to see a scenario where Epic Universe opens and Disney just takes a 50% hit. Like, that was never going to happen. That's not how this stuff works when you're talking about, just market dynamics here. And I think if you're talking about Epic Universe's impact on Orlando as a whole or the theme park market, it's not really just a this summer thing or this year. It's, coming years, multiple years here where, again, Epic Universe is still in its, I would say, beta phase of really trying to figure this park out, working through these ride issues that any new theme park is going to have when it opens. And so really it's the weakest right now that it's ever going to be. And if it already is having a positive impact for Universal like this, and potentially if it is already having an impact on Disney, at least on some level, this gives you a picture that it likely is only going to increase its impact into the future as they work on getting more people into this park, getting these wait times down, and obviously trying to make this park more guest friendly to really come in here. And they want people to stay for a whole week at Universal Studios, of course. So it's very likely the revenues and attendance for Epic Universe and the tax collections for Orange County are going to continue to go up. And what this could look like in the next few years, when I really think Epic Universe will hit its stride, we're talking about a year after its opening, of whenever this park will be running much more efficiently, and what that impact looks like, which could be pretty big. But already, after just a few months of opening, we already see some positive results from Epic Universe. You don't get attendance numbers from Disney or Universal. Really, the only attendance numbers you do get on a yearly basis is from the Themed Entertainment Association yearly report, which is likely to come out about any time for the 2024 numbers. So we won't know the 2025 numbers when it comes to Disney, Epic Universe, Universal, any of those till probably summertime of next year. So the main things you're really looking at to kind of get an idea of what the attendance might be, you look at, revenues, you look at tax income, hotel occupancy, wait times, things like that kind of give you somewhat of a picture of what attendance is looking like in the theme parks. But I think undoubtedly it's going to be very exciting to see how this continues to play out. And I'm very curious about this Christmas season, as that is a very busy time for theme parks. Has traditionally it's been in the summertime, but we've seen ever since COVID kind of a downturn of people traveling to theme parks in the summertime. But you get toward the wintertime here, I think Universal is likely looking to really ramp up the amount of people that can get into Epic Universe and see what its continued impact is going to be for both Universal and the greater Orlando area. But either way, that is going to be it though for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about all this? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.